Welcome back, everybody. This is Eric here with Iraq Veteran 8888. Today we got a real special video for you. This is a hunting video. All right, we don't get to do a lot of these, but it's been really fun over this last, several months trying to get some footage for you using the Air Force Airgun's Texan. All right, this is a 45 caliber air rifle. It uses 458 diameter projectiles. The projectile that we're running out of this thing is a Nielsen 290 grain solid lead. Okay, with a hollow point. Very accurate projectile. And these guns make some pretty good power. I would say that the power these things are getting is very similar to a 45 Colt moving out of a rifle. So it's got some pretty solid power that you're getting out of these rifles. I mean, they're capable of taking big game. And recently they legalized deer hunting with air rifles in Georgia. So we're like, hey, we've got to get out and take a deer with one of these because it's going to be so much fun. Well, Cameron from Air Force came down, was visiting, and we were just finishing up range day, and I just could not for the life of me break away fast enough to get down there and hunt that evening. But Rick, Rick Ward, the Urban Air Gunner, he's a good friend of mine, and then Cameron, they went out that evening, and I wasn't able to make it out this night, and then they were able to shoot a spike with one of these air rifles. Now, I've got that footage here I'm going to show you. Rick is filming and Cameron is shooting. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so unfortunately, I wasn't there for that first airgun kill between, our little crew of people. We're always talking about, all of our different kills we get, especially with air rifles. So I was a little jealous that Cameron, on the first set, got in there and was able to make everything happen. I have been, up until this point, hunting with one of these. I've probably been about maybe 8 or 9 different times. And it's very difficult to film for yourself, and it's also difficult. Sometimes it's not guaranteed, right? You're going to get out there, and things sometimes just don't always go according to plan, right? So I think I've probably been out on about 20 hunting trips this year. I don't get to go as often as I'd like to. I was able to connect with a cull deer over at the farm and everything like that. But it took me about 20 tries to get out there and finally get to a point where I could get a camera on these things. And I want to mention too, the challenge of filming hunting on your own is very crazy, because not only do you have to sneak in and be quiet and not get smelled, but you've got to manipulate a camera and set the shot up. Then you've got to take the shot. And gosh, it's just so crazy. So, all right, a couple of days afterwards, so Cameron got his kill. Everything was awesome. I got settled into a blind and got on a doe. And dummy me, all right, so I zeroed this gun for 100 yards. And this is a learning experience that I want to share with you guys because I feel like it's important. So I took a shot at this doe and I missed. And I felt so bad. I looked everywhere thinking, oh man, there's no way I missed this deer. She was only 50 yards away. How do you miss a 50-yard shot? How in the world do you miss a 50-yard shot? Well, the thing is about these, if you're going to use an air rifle, especially one of these 45s, it's basically lobbing a ballistic marshmallow when you look at the velocities that you're getting. You've got to pretty much, either know your dope really well, or you've got to zero for a specific distance that you think you're going to be shooting. So what happened is, because I was running a 100-yard zero and I was aiming at 50 yards, I went back and confirmed later. I'm like, man, there's no way this gun is that far off at 50 yards versus 100. Guess what? It is. With a 100-yard zero, this thing was shooting like 14 inches high. So no wonder I missed the deer, because I was aiming center mass. I'm thinking, yeah, I got it. Squeeze the shot off, I'm breathing right, everything's good. No big deal. 50-yard shot. Nobody misses that. Wrong. 14 inches high, went right over her back, and I think in the film you can actually see it hitting the dirt back there. So it was a clean miss. I missed her, and I felt terrible, but I felt good that it was a clean miss and not a potential shot that would have wounded the deer, and then I would have really felt bad. Nobody wants to wound an animal. So, all right, I went over to the range, confirmed all of my 0 points, Lesson learned, okay? Well, what happened a couple of weeks later? I was over at the farm, okay? And we snuck into this spot. I got the camera set up, and it couldn't ask for better. I had a good cull deer walk right in, okay? And he was probably not 40 yards away. So again, this is one of those instances where I'm going to have a really close range shot on this deer. And I'm probably going to end up zeroing this gun for 50 yards instead of 100, because 100, I guess in my mind I was thinking, well, if a deer comes out and it's 100 yards away, I want to be able to take a 100-yard shot because I feel like the gun is capable of delivering a humane kill at 100. I have not yet this year been presented with an opportunity to shoot a deer at 100 yards with this gun yet. Now, I'm still hunting with it. At the time this video is being made, we're still taking it out. But I was able to have a deer walk in about 40 yards away, and I decided to go ahead and take the shot. Now, based on what happened to me earlier in South Georgia, I decided to go for a neck shot because neck shots are usually a really good instant incapacitation. I decided, that if I was going to miss the deer, I was going to miss the deer. If I was going to hit the deer, I was going to hit the deer. So I decided to take a neck shot, and sure enough, it dropped that deer right on the spot. Good, clean 40-yard neck shot. So let's take a look at that. Neck shot. And at this point, I've been dragging the camera gear out in the woods, dragging all of my gear, my gun, and rangefinder, and just all these things, and you get wrapped up in the whole day-to-day of, we're going out and hunting and taking this camera gear out. It can be really, really difficult. So just getting these, harvesting these deer on film was a lot of work. And I hope that, maybe this gives some of you an idea of what these guns are capable of, okay, and gives you an idea of some of the limitations that they have. Now, I like hunting with air rifles. I think it's challenging. This is sort of a barrier between like a bow and a rifle because you really need to be in like bow range, but these things will, definitely take down a deer or a hog at 100 yards, no problem. And I can't see many bows being able to do that, okay? Another interesting fact about these that's cool is that in Georgia anyway, they can be used during primitive weapons season. So you don't have to use black powder if you don't want to. You can use an air rifle, all right? And especially if you're hunting a 100-yard or less food plot, you've got the ability to get 2 extra weeks in the woods before all the rifle hunters get out, okay? So that was one of the things that intrigued me. I like hunting with black powder, don't get me wrong. I love black powder, but it is nice to be able to lob a projectile and you just have compressed air and there's no cleanup. You don't have to go home and scrub your rifle out after shooting one shot. It's just logistically a lot easier to deal with compressed air than it is black powder in a hunting situation. So we are going to be getting out and doing more work, with this particular air gun, but I wanted to share some of our progress. And if you don't already, make sure you follow us on Instagram. It's IraqVeteran8888_official. We post all kind of behind the scenes photos and videos over on Instagram. So sometimes if I'm out in a hide and I'm doing my thing, I'm sitting in a stand, I'll post like a picture of me in the stand. So some of you that follow me on Instagram, you'll know how many of those photos that we've posted, right, of us being out in the woods and doing our thing. So it's been definitely a labor of love and effort to try to get these deer harvested on film for y'all to really see what these guns are capable of. So hopefully you enjoyed a little bit of a peek under the hood in terms of what we've been doing during deer season. It's been a little slower than I like to see. I was hoping to have at least one more deer harvested for this particular video, but we are still going to work towards that goal. We've still got maybe about a month left of deer season, and we're going to take advantage of that as we see fit. But thank you so much for watching today's video, and we hope you learn something about these air rifles, but also learn something about the limitations of air gun hunting. It's a challenge. I enjoy it. I really do like it. It is so fulfilling when you fire that shot and you humanely dispatch an animal with an air rifle. It's a very unique feeling, and it's a good feeling to know that you are able to do it. And it's a challenge, but when you finally do it, it certainly is worth the time to do it. So, guys, thank you so much. And I want to take a quick moment to thank all of our Patreon supporters, those of you who purchase man cans over on the website, those of you who purchase t-shirts over on Ballistic Ink. All those funds go right back into supporting our channel, so thank you so much. And I know there's still some deer hunting season left. I hope you guys have a great time and be careful out there. Be safe. And let me know if you have harvested a deer with an air rifle, and let me know what your experiences were. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.